All the games were sellouts anyway. The owners already made their money. Yes and no. Yes, they made their money. But no, they didn't make all their money. If I have an arena that can hold 17,000 and only 10,000 shows, well, that's 10,000 people only getting food, beverage, merchandise. I'd rather have 17,000 contributing to my bottom line with food, beverage, merchandise. I'd rather be selling jerseys and t-shirts and hats and
The Indiana Fever has confirmed that Caitlin Clark will miss tonight's Commissioner Cup Championship game versus the Minnesota Lynx. This determination follows several days of speculation about her physical condition, disappointing supporters who arranged travel based on ambiguous injury updates. Clark's unavailability for this exhibition contest should have been established sooner considering her groin injury severity. Nevertheless, both franchise leadership and league administration seemingly postponed this revelation to sustain supporter enthusiasm and avoid reduced gate receipts.
Commissioner's Cup tomorrow. Just Aaliyah was just talking about the bag that's on the line. Just how much pride are you guys taking in this, and how bad do you guys want this cup tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we're taking a lot of pride in it. You know, another opportunity to compete, another opportunity to get better, another opportunity to create a first for this franchise. You know, certainly, yes, the added bonus that our players get is a motivation. But the bigger picture, you know, an opportunity to win a championship, a first championship.
Statistical evidence demonstrates Clark's profound influence on organizational revenue indicators. Her prior absence spanning 5 contests resulted in television audience reductions of 50% alongside significant venue attendance decreases. These figures highlight her unique significance to the sport's financial sustainability. Venue profitability encompasses more than basic admission revenue. Although facilities might reach capacity regardless of Clark's involvement, diminished crowds impact supplementary income sources such as food service, retail sales, and transportation fees. Ownership groups prioritize optimizing these secondary revenue channels over accepting smaller audiences.
All this different type of fan stuff, fan gear to 17,000 instead of 10,000. So the WNBA wasn't happy because it's not a good look with one player's out and ratings drop 50%. WNBA is not happy on that front. And then the owners aren't happy on the back half saying, well, I'm losing out on all this money because people aren't showing up. Kathy, do something about this. And Kathy, working for the owners, says, I got you. Say no more. So you know what she did?
Administrative officials presumably expressed concerns to Indianapolis leadership about prospective financial shortfalls. Previous attendance declines during Clark's extended absence generated pressure on broadcasting collaborators and facility managers who require steady supporter participation. The messaging approach seems calculated to preserve optimism among distant travelers until withdrawal becomes inevitable. Supporters traveling considerable distances or securing air transportation received unclear information about Clark's status, discovering her absence only after attendance commitments became unchangeable.
Championship here in Indiana, and an opportunity for us to get better and grow.
Talk about getting better against a Minnesota team. How big of a measuring stick game is that going to be for you guys?
It is. It's a measuring stick, absolutely. I mean, they've been the most consistent team in the league. You know, they've been playing great basketball. They've got a lot of continuity with that group. They make it look easy at times with the way that they play on the offensive end and how solid they are on the defensive end of the floor. So it's going to be a great challenge for us.
The news of the
This behavior pattern indicates cooperation between central administration and franchise management to reduce economic consequences through postponed announcements. Instead of supplying precise injury schedules, authorities maintained unclear daily evaluation classifications while understanding her unavailability across multiple games. Medical chronology suggests Clark resumed activity prematurely following her original quad injury, possibly causing subsequent groin difficulties. Preseason quad problems re-emerged during regular competition, necessitating a 5-game break that might have provided inadequate recovery time.
She slid over there to Indiana. Maybe she wrote a nice worded email and saying, hey, Indiana, I get it. Caitlin Clark's going to miss the next 7 to 10 days with a groin strain. She might miss up to 2 weeks. I understand. But I got the owners pissed. Me personally, we're not too happy the WNBA. We're seeing our public image get tarnished because when Caitlin Clark doesn't play, the ratings just look awful. We got to do something about this. Is what we're going to do, Indiana.
Supplementary roster challenges encompassing exits for individual matters and international obligations required hastened comebacks that probably jeopardized Clark's physical rehabilitation. Excessive compensation for the compromised quad muscle seemingly generated tension in adjacent muscle areas, producing the present groin injury. Coach Stephanie White's media remarks preserved uncertainty despite obvious signs Clark wouldn't compete. Mentions of comprehensive perspective while discussing potential last-minute choices generated false optimism among supporters who had previously arranged attendance. Training observations verified Clark's absence from squad exercises, yet authorized communications continued implying potential involvement. This separation between visible evidence and public declarations reveals deliberate misleading tactics intended to protect commercial benefits.
Expansion cities today. This kind of speaks to the health of where this league is trending. Just curious your thoughts on the cities chosen and like where the WNBA is going.
Yeah, it's exciting. I keep thinking back to my early days in this league and playing when Detroit and Cleveland had a team back in those days. And of course, Philadelphia, excited about an opportunity to put a WNBA franchise there. There was a great turnout when the women.
Tomorrow night, just how important is that to you and this team, and how much pride are you guys taking in going there?
Clark's injury rate constitutes a troubling shift from her formerly resilient collegiate performance. Following completion of an entire university season without major health problems, she has now missed 7 of 16 professional games because of diverse physical conditions. The sequence exposes a cycle of inadequate healing intervals, followed by early returns that generate further complications. The May 26th quad strain caused a 3-week absence, succeeded rapidly by the June 24th groin injury during action against Seattle.
Next time she's going to miss games, just say she's day-to-day. Just say she's day-to-day. If the fans can't visibly see her leg break in half, just say she's day-to-day. Let's just keep stringing these people along, bringing them along for the ride so the attendance doesn't dip, so the ratings don't drop that bad, and we'll just list her as day-to-day, 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 and then when we get to game day, you know what we'll do? We'll list her as...
Present wagering markets acknowledge Clark's absence, with Indiana designated as considerable underdogs versus Minnesota. Her offensive contribution and guidance substantially affect squad performance, making her unavailability a decisive element in competitive results. The wider consequences reach beyond individual contest influence to concerns about athlete health oversight and institutional honesty. Emphasizing immediate revenue over extended player well-being generates moral questions about professional athletics management.
And getting a win.
Yeah, it's super important, obviously, to see where we match up against Minnesota, because obviously they're a great team and there's also money on the line. So making sure that you want to leave with the bag. And so for us, it's about focusing on what we need to do, make sure we're playing defense. Obviously, Minnesota, they move well without the ball, they defend well. So we just have to make sure we play an all-around great game.
Have you talked about the bag as a team?
That's the goal right here. I mean, when there's money on the line, what else are you looking at?
What about what you might use it?
Supporter disappointment focuses on postponed revelation rather than Clark's genuine injury circumstances. Enthusiasts comprehend that injuries happen during athletic competition, but anticipate truthful communication about player status to enable educated attendance choices. Interstate travel planning demands advanced coordination that becomes impossible when reliable information stays unavailable until hours before competition. Supporters purchasing flights, accommodations, and comprehensive travel packages deserve dependable updates about marquee player involvement. Economic stress confronting women's professional basketball generates challenging choices about information sharing. League expansion relies significantly on featured athletes, making their absence especially harmful to commercial possibilities.
as questionable, and then when we get a little bit closer to game time, we'll list her as a game time decision. But then when we're about 6 hours out from the game starting, when people who are driving 5 hours are already 3 hours into their drive, when people who are driving 10 hours to watch are already 5 hours into their drive, when people are flying from Maine to Minnesota and they're currently in the air, when it's too late, that's when
However, lasting expansion requires establishing supporter confidence through honest communication rather than misleading enthusiasts until commitment becomes irreversible. Immediate revenue protection through delayed revelation might eventually harm extended credibility. Different strategies could encompass honest injury schedules that permit supporters to make educated choices while implementing alternative tactics to sustain interest during star player absences. Promoting substitute narratives or emphasizing other skilled players could maintain engagement without demanding misleading communication. The present circumstances demonstrate obstacles confronting developing professional leagues that rely substantially on individual stars rather than established institutional allegiance. Creating lasting supporter foundations requires balancing commercial requirements with honest enthusiast relationships.
No, it's probably once it hits my account, like Mama Boston's she's gonna look at that, so that'll be her job.
With the news of expansion in other cities today, like how cool is that? It just feels like good news as far as that's concerned. It's coming out every year, 3 solid,
Yeah.
East Coast cities.
I mean, it's exciting. I think the league is growing, and I think everyone is tuned in. And once again, it gives more people an opportunity to play in the best league, gives more people an opportunity to say they're professional. And so
Recent developments have surfaced concerning Caitlin Clark's participation for tonight's Commissioner's Cup confrontation. The Indiana Fever organization has issued an authorized declaration that effectively concludes speculation about the prominent player's competitive status. Original anticipation suggested head coach Stephanie White might delay until game time before reaching a final choice. Nevertheless, those forecasts proved inaccurate as the franchise acted swiftly to clarify the circumstances for supporters and media representatives.
We'll say that she's out. That's when we'll say that she's out. We'll wait for the last possible minute. We'll hold off as long as we possibly can. And then we'll say that Caitlin Clark is out. This I'm not a fan of. I can't co-sign this. Because if you actually followed this, you would know there's no way she's coming back today.
The squad's authorized statement published on social media platform X supplied explicit details about tonight's roster composition. The communication specified that Dantron remains unavailable because of international duties with Brazil's national squad, while Clark has been excluded with a left groin injury that prohibits her involvement. This declaration has created substantial discussion among basketball analysts who challenge the timing and situation surrounding recent developments. The precise reasoning behind certain choices remains uncertain currently.
So for us, this is great. This is great. So everyone that gets drafted to these teams, I mean, it's just about coming in and continue to do what you do.
How about Minnesota and the task that you guys have playing tomorrow?
Yeah, Minnesota's a great team. They move well. Obviously, they have Fee and their guards do a great job spacing the floor. And so for us, it's about playing that team basketball, make sure we're moving the ball, making sure they have to work on the defensive end, and then also make sure we're getting stops because obviously they can score at any angle.
What makes defense so difficult to slow down?
Yeah, I think Fee.
Squad leadership addressed tonight's contest's significance during recent media availability sessions. The coaching personnel emphasized this opportunity's importance, highlighting how the Commissioner's Cup represents more than simply another regular season game for the organization. Financial rewards connected to cup achievement provide supplementary motivation for athletes, though leadership stressed that primary concentration centers on competitive accomplishment. For a franchise pursuing its inaugural championship, this tournament offers a significant pathway toward that historic achievement. Minnesota presents a challenging obstacle as tonight's adversary. The visiting squad has established itself as the league's most reliable performer throughout the present campaign. Their balanced strategy on both court ends, combined with roster stability, generates substantial barriers for any competitor.
If you didn't follow this, if you're not lurking all the time, and if you're just a casual fan, you see Caitlin Clark's playing, oh, she's day-to-day, oh, that means she's probably going to be playing by Tuesday, let me get my tickets, let me make my arrangements, boom. And now here we are on Tuesday, she's out. Why even continue to say day-to-day? Just rule her out. Why even bother saying game time decision when we're still 5 hours away from game time to make a decision?
The Lynx organization displays offensive effectiveness while preserving defensive strength. Their smooth ball circulation and tactical implementation often make challenging plays appear effortless. This reliable excellence positions them as genuine championship candidates. Recent league expansion declarations have produced positive excitement throughout the basketball community. New market additions reflect the sport's increasing popularity and generate supplementary opportunities for professional athletes. Cities like Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia contribute rich basketball heritage that should improve the league's comprehensive profile.
She's just a great all-around player. I mean, she has that post-up. She can play the three. She can play the four, depending on advantages. Obviously, her fadeaway is pretty great. So for us, it's about making sure we just contain her. I mean, great players are hard to stop. It's just about making sure that you contain them and make it hard.
Not only is it the Commissioner's Cup, but is this a good measuring stick for you guys?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is great. Like I said, they're a great team. So for us, we've had some ups and downs throughout this season already with some games, and so it's making sure that, listen, when you come out here, you have to be ready to go, because
Athletes have conveyed enthusiasm about expansion's influence on career possibilities. Additional franchises mean supplementary roster positions and enhanced visibility for the sport. This development benefits everyone involved, from selected players to established veterans pursuing new challenges. Anticipating tonight's contest, squad representatives acknowledged the evaluation standard nature of confronting Minnesota. Financial benefits associated with Commissioner's Cup achievement provide extra motivation, though competitive pride remains the primary driving element.
Wake up in the morning, she's out, not playing. Talk to us yesterday, she's out, not playing. We need to wait for the last possible minute. Very, very frustrating. It's nasty work, folks. It's nasty work, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. The eagerly anticipated Commissioner's Cup final between the Indiana Fever and the Minnesota Lynx could tip off. Well, it is going to tip off.
Boston emphasized executing fundamentally solid basketball against such accomplished opposition. Minnesota's ball circulation without possession and defensive intensity require maximum preparation and concentration from Indiana's athletes. The Lynx roster features adaptable talents who generate matchup difficulties throughout lineups. Their capacity to score from various positions and maintain defensive pressure makes them especially dangerous opponents. Restricting their offensive rhythm while producing consistent scoring chances represents Indiana's fundamental challenge.
Minnesota's that team that you have to make sure you're ready from the jump.
How comfortable do you feel from a finishing perspective heading into the season compared to your past years in pros?
Yeah, it feels pretty great. I think coming into this year, it started off a lot better than last year. And then obviously my rookie season, I feel like your rookie season start, it's always just going to be a rookie season start into this league. And so for me, that was my goal coming into this season, was making sure that I'm consistent around the basket, because the players that we have, the way that our guards can pass the ball, Caitlin can pass the ball, making sure that when I get in the position to
Completion near the basket has become a concentration point for several Indiana athletes entering this season. Enhanced consistency in scoring situations should benefit the squad's comprehensive offensive effectiveness. Patient decision-making and understanding defensive positioning contribute to improved shot selection and conversion percentages. The development process continues for younger athletes adapting to professional basketball's requirements. Rookie seasons typically involve significant learning experiences, but steady improvement through practice and game exposure builds confidence progressively.